am a book coach and storytelling strategist. Everything for me is about story. And the biggest thing for me is that people's bios are boring, right?
Let's break it down to the little pieces here. So the first piece is that what you're referring to is a custom GPT. Just like there's a ChatGPT, you give both of these types of customer the GPT access. But with one of them, you spend 90 minutes with them side by side.
Yes, coaching them through their story. So what was so important to me was that I wanted to learn really how to create my own GPT. And there was so many different wins, different levels to the win.
What recent win did you have?
My recent win is that my first time just pitching a new idea for what I call the bio glow up, I was able to land a client. I did $150 and I was like, okay, how can I make this offer have more legs?
If somebody is feeling imposter syndrome or they're feeling scared, I want them to borrow some of your confidence. Where do you get your confidence from? What is your name and what recent win did you have?
My name is Tiaya Smart Young, and my recent win is that my first time just pitching a new idea for what I call the bio glow up, I was able to land a client. Now, the thing is that I have clients, right? But what was so important to me was that I wanted to learn really how to create my own GPT. Right. And so inside of the membership, it was like, when you go to annual, you get all these bonuses. And in my mind is constantly going. So I was like, what can I do to elevate this particular offer? You suggested 100, I did $150. And I was like, okay, how can I make this offer have more legs? And so what I did was I created this custom GPT called the Bio Glow Up. I call her Glow, right?
Nice.
And it is a way to accelerate the process of writing your own bio, right? And so I followed your instructions. I gave it all this good information to be able to push back the outputs that I wanted. And so not only did I make it to be able to do it as a done for you service with a client and they get a 90-minute session with me, but I also made it as a downsell. I was like, what happens if they don't buy during this period? I was like, let me see if I can interest them in them being able to do it themselves. So I feel like there was so many different wins, different levels to the wins, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just for me. It was great that someone signs on, but it was great for me to be able to see how the power of the GPT and me being in control to set it up and say, okay, here's one level here. And then here's another level for the person to be able to do it on their own. So I created a toolkit. They now have access to the Glow GPT, and they have instructions on what to do. So you can pick a path. You can either have no bio and maybe you're starting from scratch, maybe like think a new graduate, right, from high school or college, and they need to create a bio. Or you can be a seasoned person and you can pick that path, and then you can start your bio by uploading what's there and asking the questions like, hey, what works, what doesn't work. So I said a lot, but I'm very excited.
I know. And let's break it down to the little pieces here. So the first piece is that what you're referring to is a custom GPT. Just like there's a ChatGPT, I created a custom GPT inside of my memberships that any member gets access to. And then for annual members in your first 5K or any member of All Access, I teach you how to make your own custom GPT. I even have information about it on YouTube, but I really break it down in the membership step by step, how to create your own custom GPT. How would you describe to somebody who doesn't know anything about it what a custom GPT is? How would you describe it?
So first of all, I love tech, but even if you are not a techie, there's nothing intimidating about the process. It is lay it out so simply. It's not a 5-hour video where you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. You explain it step by step. And so that's really important of knowing, hey, you need to read this, right? Watch these videos, feed it these particular prompts, and you're going to get this result. And I think that's the most important thing. I think people use ChatGPT, and the reason why it sounds so generic is because you're not giving it any good info. It's like your body. You want to give your body the good stuff, right? So your body can produce and have the fuel that it needs. So that's the way I like to think of it. Like you gave us exact steps on what to do And the thing is that it's like, don't overthink it. You're like,
Yeah.
get these wins happening, small wins happening right now. So if
Hmm.
a person is really intimidated by ChatGPT, AI in general, you really made it very clear for them that
Yeah.
don't need to worry
And
about.
so you have ChatGPT and you can prompt it, you can tell it stuff, you can ask it stuff, and it'll give you information. And yes, over time it actually will start to get to know you, especially
Mhm.
if you have the paid version,
I
it'll get
do.
to know you, right? So then with the custom GPT, what you can do is make it very specific to your niche, specific to what you wanted to, what information you wanted to give out to other people. So with
Yeah.
yours, you're like, I want to help other people create their own bios, to revamp their bios, which will help them make more money essentially over time.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like, okay, here's a prompt you can give ChatGPT, take my prompt and go put it into ChatGPT, which people do, that's fine. I do that, it's fine. You
Mhm.
said, no, I'm going to actually create a whole GPT for you that if you
Yeah.
go to my link, my specific link that you sell, that
Yes.
it'll make your bio with your input. And so when you're comparing the do it do it yourself versus the do it with you, both types, I'm explaining it step by step so anybody here can think through how can I use a GPT of my own to start a business.
Sure.
Okay, so you give both of these types of
Yes.
customer the GPT access, but with
Yes.
one of them, you spend 90 minutes with them side by side.
Yes, coaching them through their stories. So I am a book coach and storytelling strategist. So everything for me is about story. And the biggest thing for me is that people's bios are boring and
Mm,
dry. And so if you've ever been introduced on a stage and someone stumbles over your words that you've written for this great bio, or they're reading, I've had people read like a page worth of a bio and it's like you don't need to read all of that, right? So with the 90 minutes with me, we're getting into the story. We're getting into why is this the field that they chose, right? Why are they
yeah.
successful in this field? So that personal touch is way more in terms of what you're going to get with the DIY GPT version,
Yeah.
right?
And both of them get you closer than where you were before.
Absolutely.
It's just these
Absolutely.
different touch points. And that's why I want people to think about for their own business and their own offers, having different layers. You just explained, hey, I don't just have one offer. I have a downsell offer. If somebody's not going to take my 150, they may take what do you charge if they do the other? And again,
67.
how much?
67.
67. Now these prices can fluctuate, go up, go down, whatever, because that's what your prerogative. But that's just something I think that's going to help a lot of people just think about like, what is another version of the same offer? So I don't have to make 50 offers, but I can do
Mhm.
different tiers of this one offer. Then let's break down how you got the sale. Where
Sure.
did you put the offer and how did the person come in,
Sure,
to do it?
sure. I started with you say, listen, email or text. So I just text someone that I knew wanted to work with me. And
Yeah.
I someone that I knew needed their bio revised. So I was like, let's see if we could just make it really easy for this person to say yes. And they
Mm.
did immediately, right? It was like, and what I did was did a little bit of research and went to see if they still had that same bio on their website. And they did. And I was like, okay, gold. And I was like, this is the way I can make your bio shine. And so
Yeah.
they immediately sold. And the thing is that it's something that I've offered in the past for a much higher rate,
Yeah.
right? Now I have some emails that are set up to go out for a flash sale to promote this offer, right?
Mm.
And in the email, it says, hey, like you have so many hours, I believe it's 72. I put in the emails for you to take advantage of this offer. And then it goes back up to the 650 rate.
Yeah.
My excitement is around seeing what happens, right? In terms of the 72 hours and the people taking it and wanting to get that one-on-one touch point with me.
Yeah. So break it down even more.
Sure.
You did this during the 5 day challenge?
I did it during the 5-day challenge.
Yeah. Okay. And do you remember what day you actually put it? Because then day two is when we talk about promoting, but day three is like if we don't have an audience, what do you do? Do you remember like it was
I
around
think
then?
first, I think it was day 3. And
Yeah.
mind you, I came in when the challenge was already up in the school
Yeah.
community. So
Yeah.
I just watched it straight through.
Yes.
Straight
Yeah. That's what
through.
anybody can come in right now and take that 5 day challenge. Even if you're not
Yes.
running it live, the replays are there. And some people come in and they do one day at a time, day one, day five. And then some people like you, they come in and they say, okay, look, let me just get through these days. And
Yes.
but the important part is doing the actual action for each.
Yes.
It's not trying
Yes.
to skip it because that's like, why would you skip it?
Yeah. And you can't treat it like it's school, like, oh, I learned it. And you're waiting for the test at the end or the quiz at the end. You
Yeah.
really focus on teaching us to watch it and now implement, like do the thing, right? So
Yeah.
don't overthink the fact that you have to text or email someone and it's not perfect or it's not up yet. You're like, take imperfect action, see if this is something that someone wants. It forces you to come out of your comfort zone, especially if you are not used to doing that. And if you don't have an audience, the great place to start is with people that already know you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And did you have any reservations or any challenges along the way? Like
I
reaching
think
out to people or anything like that?
no, because I'm of the mindset of that if you want the sale, you have to ask for the sale. That's a thing that I've had to work through being an entrepreneur. We don't get this, like you don't benefit from being a secret, right?
You know,
You have to ask, you have to tell people what you're doing.
day one, I say this and I repeat it throughout the whole thing. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Okay.
It's true. It's just like if you decided I'm going to do this, like you can go and work for somebody and you may still be working for somebody. That's a certain way of getting paid. But if you're out there and you're saying, I want to make money for myself, I want to have those options, these are the types of things you do. You
Yeah.
make offers. Anything else come to mind about a challenge or anything, or was it like all smooth sailing?
The thing that I think I was surprised about is how fast I upgraded. I think
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting to upgrade as fast as I did. It was in the back of my mind, but I was like, oh, we'll wait, we'll see. And I haven't even been in the community for a month and I
Yep.
upgraded because I
Yep.
wanted to be able to have access to the other resources that you were providing. And I was like, this is a low investment in myself, right? And again, and if we want to go to another level, we have to make
Yeah.
investments in ourselves. And so I was like, okay, and I really wanted to learn how to make a GPT. And I think the biggest thing was it's not as hard as we may think it is.
Yeah, and let me break it down for anybody who's confused about the pricing. So it right now, this goes up every 1,000 people, but right now it's $10 a month or $50 a year, which obviously is a steal, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of people go in and $10 just to test it out because they're like, it can't. I know everybody's saying it's cool, but it can't be that. It can't be right what I think it is. And then they get in there, and then you get a ton for the $10, but I
Yes,
have a lot of things that are blocked off for annual members. So you upgrade, when you upgrade, you don't have to pay $50. You pay the $40 or whatever the difference is with what you already
right.
paid. And you can go in there and be monthly and be fine. But if you want to like upgrade your life, you go and you upgrade to annual. And it's
Absolutely.
just like, what do you think of the pricing? Because I hear people talking about the price, they can't believe it, so they don't even join.
First of all, I knew who you were, right? And
Okay.
I'm watching the YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
so when I see the membership, I'm like, okay, let me see if I can, make this happen.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, this is so affordable because there are so many communities on school or memberships in general
yeah,
that can cost you $200 a month,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
$300 a month. But I was like, $10 a month. That's a no-brainer price for me, right? And
yeah,
so I
yeah.
was like, then when I saw that there were things that were locked, I was like, oh, I'm missing out on all the good stuff. So I need to
Mhm.
upgrade to be able to get the access to the remaining courses and
Yeah, yeah,
get my appetite fed.
yeah. And it's gonna be funny, like in a year or 6 months, whatever, when the price is much different. It's gonna be
Right.
funny to look back on it. But you came in, you paid $50, which is
Yeah.
your hard-earned money. You paid
Yes.
$50, and then you made 150,
Yes. And
which is amazing.
I expect to make even more, right? And I have tools that I did not have before.
Mm,
So, and I'll be able to continue to use them. To me, like yes, the sale is great, but I think for me, it's having these tools and knowing that now I can make another GPT, right? It just
yeah,
this
exactly. And I
fun.
love the way you're doing your offer. It's so smart, not just to have an offer, but to have, because this is what a lot of people are doing. I work in the tech world. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I mean they're doing like they're selling their stuff for like $10,000,
Yeah.
$20,000, So we can't be left behind. We can't just be sitting on the sidelines just looking at this. And I want to
Mhm.
make sure that anybody who's still watching us, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment and let us know what is your biggest takeaway so far. But I want to make sure they walk away with just the most actionable step they can take. What's
Sure.
your advice for being able to make a sale? Like what kind of mindset shift do they need, or what like tactical thing should they
Mm,
do? What's some free
right.
game we can give them?
Sure. I think the first thing is to not overthink it and
Mm,
to to know that people do genuinely want to support you, right? I think we automatically say nobody wants this.
yeah.
And you put yourself at a disadvantage because how do you know that they don't want it if you've never asked them? Or who wants to hear it from me? And the thing is that people do want to hear it from you if they've been following your story, if you do have some kind of following on Instagram or even on Facebook, right? Sometimes you'll find that there are family members who have like serious like posts going on Facebook, but they're not on Instagram and they're not on TikTok. Those people can probably sell things because
Mm,
they have such engaging posts. So I think the thing is not to overthink it, to make the ask, and then to ask the person too, because I'm in the middle of something right now where I'm offering something and people aren't snapping up the way I thought. So
yeah.
I'm going to people directly and saying, okay, what would make this a no-brainer for you?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you sign up? Because all of that you can use to make your offer better.
100%. 100%. You've hit on such really tactical things when it comes to having an offer that is a downsell, meaning it costs less than the main offer and
Yeah.
it provides less. So you're not like the people who do pay the amount are getting a great offer, but it provides less and it costs less for that entry level person. And then the other thing is just thinking through like how can I get my sales chops up? Because that's what you are. You like if you learn sales and you learn communication, you won't worry about money.
Yeah.
You won't
And
worry about money.
And it's like, I don't think it's easier to ask for the 100 versus the 1,000. I think it's how many reps you put in to be able to just be comfortable. A long time ago, I learned from a coach to say the investment for that is. And that was such a game changer
Mhm.
for me. So no matter what I'm offering, I always say the investment for that is $150. The
Yeah,
your investment to now go to the next level is right, is
yeah,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something that's really important. It doesn't make it easier because it's a lower price, right? And some people may think, oh, I got to make it $50 for them to buy. They still might not buy at that level if you're not giving them the great language and the sales, right? The
Hmm.
psychology of why they need to buy this particular thing.
Yeah,
And they might go to someone else and pay more because that person hit all the points. And I've had that
100%.
before,
You've had
right?
that happen.
Yes.
If somebody is feeling imposter syndrome or they're feeling scared, I want them to borrow some of your confidence. Where do you get your confidence from?
Practice. Practice, right? A lot of times when you hear no, you can be very defeated and you can take your coins and be like, oh, my marbles and I'm going home. I'm going to cry. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more you say the investment is 100, the investment is 500, the investment is 1,000, it just gives you the confidence. And when people say yes, right? That first yes, that's what I think is so important about the challenge is that
Mm,
you're not going in with an offer that's 5,000. You're going in
yes.
with something that's really manageable, really affordable, and someone can say yes to something that's 50, yes to something that's $100. And that yes should now give you the energy to now go and get more yeses, right?
100%. 100%. Amazing. Is there anything else you want to make sure that people understand? Our members, because they're going to be watching this, and people on YouTube who are not members yet.
Okay. So the other thing that I love about the membership is that it is not overwhelming because joining
Mm,
memberships right? And I know the community is going to grow, but right now, how it is not overwhelming. I'm feeling like I'm getting to read people's posts. I'm getting to understand what they do. You even have a section where you can say what your offer is. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to get feedback. I wanted to see if this made sense to people, right? So it's being able to get to know people in the community and have them rooting for you instead of feeling like I'm one of 58,000 and nobody's
Yeah.
seeing my post.
Yeah.
Because when you sent me a message, I was like, rubbing my eyes, like what?
Yeah. I saw you. I read all the posts and I saw your win and I was like, can we get up? Can we jump on to talk to people on YouTube?
And I was excited to do that. So
Yeah.
that's a great part of the community as well, knowing that you're there and you're
Yeah.
liking messages and dropping memes and inviting people to come and talk about their wins. So that's a really big thing
Yeah.
too.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. I think you've helped a lot of people
Thanks,
today
I
and I
hope
can't
so.
wait to see what happens next with your journey.
Me too. Me too. All
All
right.
right.
Take care.
See you later.